I think that's going to be the mathematics of the future. Like, if you want to like thrive on the long term, I think it's going to be very important and necessary to give back as much as possible, so you don't hold that much. Otherwise, it's going to get very dark, right?
That's cool. I like that. The mathematics of the future.
Do not consider money as like actual like bill that you're losing. It's like, no, it's a points of energy that you're providing. You've built that much energy that you can like provide, do this, you can go there, you can like, you know. So the more value you will bring, the more energy you will have to spend. And I think that's all about like making it transfer, you know, can't hold that much. So you gotta like give back as much as. Let's get it. Welcome back, Purple Matter, episode 4. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, it's 4?
It's already 4.
Time is moving fast, my brother.
We shot it episode 1 in Tokyo, episode 2 in Paris, episode 3 in Egypt, and now episode 4 we're straight in New York, your city.
New York City.
Where are you from?
That's my city. That's where I grew up. For those of you who are joining us, that's where I grew up. New York City, 17 years. You can hear Armel is already on the rooftop with the construction workers. New York is mad noisy.
I've been here before. The energy is nice. It's high energy right now.
Bro, there's no place like New York City. I mean, I always call New York City a dream manifestation device. The whole city itself is like a giant.
It's like
like a crystal fucking coral reef. It just conducts energy on another level.
You can actually like manifest straight in, like whatever you like, you can manifest it so much faster. It can happen like, you know, whatever you want, it can be like in a second.
Right.
You want this, boom, you got this. You can already hear with the conversation people have in the streets. What they're talking about is not about like, the conversation is very different than the one of people have in Europe or in Asia. Right now it's like, yo, today I had a latte with almond milk, but they didn't have almond milk anymore, so I had to switch to soy milk. So it has impacted my morning this way, and now...
It's just the breakdown, bro. It's the analytics. Vocal analytics.
And
Americans
then he's like,
are so loud,
and then he's like,
especially
yo,
New Yorkers.
Chili flakes on an ice cream? Oh, that's wild.
Bro, New York
that's what they worry about right now. That's what they worry about. So, you know, you want to instant dopamine hits of sweets. It's like straight everywhere.
I mean, New York is, you know, like we speak about it all the time. New York is, to me, the bass drum of the world. It's the boom, 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 boom. It's the heartbeat. It's the pulse, at least in our modern civilization. You know, in the great cities of the world, you know, between New York City, between Paris, between Tokyo, Milan, New York City holds a special place on the world stage. You know, that's the mothership, as we say. You'll find every kind of face, every kind of culture, language, style, expression. You know, like if you took somebody from 100 years ago and you dropped them in New York City, they would feel like they were just in they would feel like they were in like another planet. I hear the sirens over there too right now.
I mean that's exactly what happened when I came through from Egypt, right? In Egypt it was like people driving horses, people driving camels. Then you can ride the ATVs in the streets. There's no lines separating the roads. You have no signs, no red light, no green lights. And then you arrive here, and it's like in the same planet, at the same time, people are living such different experiences.
Right.
And you can already tell, like just with like physical travel, you can already time travel, because you go like, and we see the difference in the physical world, of course, because you see like people drive cars here, people like have Uber and cars that are going to drive by themselves. But now you can also imagine that the people living here are so different in the way they think than people back in Egypt. Completely different way of thinking. So it's both time travel on the physical plane, but also in the mental plane. And And
Oh,
you
for
can tell
sure.
already here. You can tell already here. People are like getting access to some very interesting things that I believe the world will come get like afterwards. Maybe like but here it's different.
Well, it's crazy because, like, all my life when I was living in New York and visiting Taiwan, visiting Taipei, even down to the music, Taipei was always like 5, 6, 7 years behind what was hot or what was popping in New York City. Because New York
Right.
City always had the fingers to the pulse. And then after New York City would be from the East Coast to the West Coast, LA, right, of course, San Francisco. But it usually was that kind of, I guess you can say, compass. New York kind of had the fingers on the pulse of what's popping, what's now, what's in, what's dope, and then it would kind of trickle straight over to LA, 3 hour time difference, and then the rest of
Right.
the world would get that dope. They would get it like 1, 2, 3, 5 years later. So it's interesting how certain cities kind of create thought ripples across the world. But I
I mean, yeah. Basically, it's like they did a really great job, right? They were like, "Yo, we're in Europe. We're pretty settled down in Europe, but now space is gonna get tight, so we want bigger spaces." They went through America. They got America, and then they developed like big, big, big cities like New York for fashion, New York for finance, Los Angeles for like movies and entertainment, and then San Francisco for the tech and everything. So they created poles like that to like be able to control all the outside world with city that powerful that you can't even compete.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, of course, you're on American soil right now, so you can feel whether you like it or not, America is America for a reason. And I have some patriotism inside of myself too, just because you think about the history, you think about the stories, the legends of America. I mean, New York was founded in 1624, right? And a lot of it was very Dutch inspired. Like you'll go to the Netherlands and Amsterdam, and it looks very much like certain parts of New York, whether you're in like the Lower East Side or kind of on the
Right,
areas of the
right, right,
docks.
right, right.
But you know, just the concept of America, concept of these like group of rebel vagabonds, people who are like, nah, fuck Britain, fuck the Queen, pardon my French, but they organized, they got together, and they
It's
went
crazy.
to a new land, and of course the history is littered with a lot of you know violence, so to say. I don't want to get too into that
Well,
energy, but
we got to speak about good things. I think
yeah,
we got to make it like optimist for what's gonna come next. And yesterday
exactly.
with the conversation I had with your brother, it was a lot of optimism. Like he told me some really good insights. He works in an advertising company here, as you know,
Right,
Ivan, but
right,
just so people gets aware of it, he
right,
works for a nice advertising company, and he also have some side hustles.
right.
But yeah, you get some really great insight in like the technical way of distribution,
That's
everything
great.
related to AI, to tech. So
Yeah,
he give me some nice insight, and we talked about like how it's gonna be developed in the next coming years. And of course, we could not avoid speaking about the AI glasses,
of course.
right? Could be from Meta, Apple, whatever like brands stand out at the end, but we were having conversation about that, and we were saying how the content creation going to just shift directly through 3D and immersive pictures, immersive videos. So it's not
Right.
going to be any more scrolling on your phone. It's going to be directly in the space with the person. And and so basically we need now to think about content creation in that way. We need to think about content creation in a 3D world, in the metaverse, where
Mm-hmm.
people where it gets too expensive to go outside, that people spend so much time inside, and they're consuming constantly content like that. So yeah, that was really really interesting. We had some really fun having this conversation.
Yeah, that's great too, because a big crux of that convo kind of originated maybe over a year or 2 years ago. You know, we're very fortunate to keep very close circle, close friends around, people who are in different industries, and sometimes we'll get together and we'll have like a good, intellectual siph. So, for people tuning in, I'm sure you guys have your friend groups or whatnot, but just to provide context, Armel being in New York City, my brother is holding down the territory in New York City. He himself is, very rooted in what's happening right now in that industry. But this conversation revolved around the future of user interface. And just as you say, going from 2D to 3D, what does that mean? How does that influence the way we interact with each other as humans? I just saw a recent post, very interesting, that regardless of the advancement of technology, whether it be VR, whether it be social media, the number one increasing over the past 10 years keywords, search words on Google is how to make new friends, how to meet new
Yeah,
people,
nice. I
where
like
to
this one.
meet new people, where to make new friends.
I like this one. I think right now this is gonna be a really big issue. The way that people have less friends and are just by themselves. Because in some cities like here, you gotta have a lot of money to be able to hang out with your friends, right?
Mm,
Unless like you want to invite them in your apartment. So first of all, you need to have an apartment, and then if you want to go outside, you gotta go have a restaurant or some good food, whatever. You know,
mm-hmm.
it's a budget. So the more we'll continue that way, the less people gonna be like, oh, I rather spending time online with you, having a call. We go get dinner in the metaverse, whatever. That's I mean, I don't wish it goes that way, but that's probably what's gonna happen. And of course, that's not gonna be the right solution to do this. We should like continue having physical connections, physical friends. But I believe that's definitely one of the concerns we'll have to face in the future.
Yeah, the difference between, I guess, on one hand is IRL in real life, and on the left hand is IDL in digital life. So this is going to be a very interesting pendulum that we're going to witness. And we're going to have front row seats because, as me and you are developing our ability to storytell and to be more authentic and to kind of create this energetical connection through the people we meet, the conversations we have, how will that translate in an increasingly digital world? Will people be going outside more? Will people have the means or the desire to connect in real life as VR, AR starts to increase? And in a
I mean,
way,
and that's the question we are asking right now. At that time, we are asking this. But imagine in a future where the temperature outside is not livable, and when you go out, it's too hot to stay too long. So in that kind of future, definitely no choice.
yeah, and of course that's when tools like what Meta is creating, AR glasses, it's
That's
gonna be.
survivals. That's survival tools, and that's why in the episode just before in Egypt, we were saying that the guy was saying AI is the only solution for human consciousness to survive, because if you don't have AI, you can't adapt to the changes that's gonna happen. And
Yeah,
now you can
yeah,
see in New York, the city is ready. My hotel downstairs, the check-in is through a box. There's no one. I need to talk to someone. So right now it's an actual human, but very soon it's gonna just be replaced by the AI.
or a
And
robot.
so all those position, all those work won't be here anymore. And just talk to robots, and you can focus on other things. So you really need to like see what's gonna come next after this kind of period. What's gonna be the key elements that the society will need as humans, and people will crave for human content, for
Mm.
non-generated content, right? Authentic one, pure one. people will crave for that. So the more you will be able to develop your own personal creative strategy, the more you will be able to adapt to what's going to come next.
100%. And I also, that makes me think about, what we mentioned in the last episode too, about what are going to be our new desire motivation points, what are going to be our new value points. And even recently, I saw another great article by Greg Eisenberg where he was talking about how he imagines in the future there's going to be a school similar to the days when it was how to code. That was like the big trendy thing. How to learn how to code. And
Right.
from those early educational initiatives, you started to create more engineers, more computer developers, more app developers, and now here we are today. But we're at this crossroads now where you don't really need to learn how to code anymore because AI is about to take over those potential
Yeah.
engineering, potential code, potential user interface details. I mean,
Exactly.
we're at the
That's
point
things
where you
that
can
gonna
speak and you can create a website with a few sentences.
exactly that, and that's what we were saying also with your brother yesterday. I was wondering, like, what's gonna come next for him, because right now he has a great position as like a back-end tech guy, but I think soon he's gonna be replaced, and he will be able to do other things. And I think, I mean, let me know what you think about this, but I think that the only thing that's gonna stay and that's gonna left is the creative system, artists, comedians, painters, drawers, musician, all the real one. That's the only
Right.
value that's gonna stay.
And this is like full circle to the seed of even why Beyond the Hustle
Gods,
started, right?
and
Human
that's
centric
and
versus
that's how
tech centric.
humans become gods, because they can focus only on creation. They can focus only on like creating more things, and that's what gods is. So basically, yeah, you remove all the things that when people were like working in the farm to like get food at that time, when there was no tractors, right? And then they replaced with the tractors, so all those people were able to work in different domains. And now it's going to be the exact same thing. All those positions right now that you can see, the woman at the front desk in downstairs, or the people at the airport and the immigration, all those people going to be replaced. And so we don't have to focus on this kind of position anymore. We can focus on new things.
Right.
This will be mastered.
It's
This will be
almost
mastered.
yeah, it's almost like a macro societal Maslow hierarchies happening before our
Exactly.
eyes.
Exactly. That's exactly what you're always asking. Like, oh, what's the self-actualization society will look like? And that's pretty much how it's going to look like.
Right.
You
It's
can
it's
just
building. It's building layer by layer. And it's crazy because the response, like even on that article, the response that I wrote to myself was, if you look back and you think to yourself, okay, that was the how to code era, and now we're entering the how to market / how to storytell era. We're entering this attention economy now, where
Yep.
the people with the most value are the people who know how to weave all these tools together to tell their story in the most unique, engaging, attractive, appealing way. But
And to
then
get
after,
attention.
and to get attention, but even attention is still very shallow, in my opinion. Even though we're participating in this game, we're learning new skills on how to refine what I think is human beings' innate ability to tell stories in a soulful way. So now, what's after that? My question essentially was, will we then create schools that teach us how to dream?
Yes.
And will imagination become a currency?
Yeah, for sure.
Will imagination become
Exactly.
a new type of money?
Exactly. That's the preciousness of the source of creation. That's the preciousness. That's why we all going to be creators, and that's what's going to be the value. Is because everything you create comes straight from your imagination, and your imagination, that's this source that we want to conserve. We want to preserve the source of consciousness.
And that's the part that gets me excited too, because one of the driving questions and motivators for creating the Beyond the Hustle podcast, or even this podcast, is that essential question: will we witness a time period where perhaps 1 million people are enlightened at the same time, or 1 million people achieve self-actualization at the same time. What does that look like? What does a society look like where people are satisfied from their basic needs, from their monetary needs, from their group social structure needs? And then where does the brain go? Where does the soul go? Where does the mind go? What becomes, and this is why we're interested in potential extraterrestrials or aliens, because I always joke, if you've already completed a series of evolutionary steps across eons, and you've become a hypothetical spiritually advanced being, what else would you do but teleport and fly around the universe and just learn everything there is to learn about the infinite creations that the universe is just manifesting?
But you can just get like information directly to your mind. So if whatever you ask, you can like go get the information from the data we all stored till the beginning. Because now you are aware that you can have access to like this psychosphere around the Earth.
Right.
You can get like all the data. It's like the cloud with the tech, but now it's like the actual human experience is storage somewhere. You get the answers. You ask, boom, you get the answer. Intuition.
Yeah, we would joke exactly, intuition development. So it's like we're coming back to this point where, you know, it's like technology is the training. Technology is like the training wheels on a tricycle. Like, you know what a tricycle is, right?
Yep.
You know, like when the kid is learning how to ride a bike, you got the two little side bikes, the two little side wheels. That's what's happening now, I feel, with technology. It's like, because there are a lot of wild benefits that are happening. I mean, you talked at the beginning of this podcast about traveling is kind of that first form of time travel. But even right now, the only access for a human to kind of see what's happening right now all over the world is through platforms like X, right? Or platforms like Instagram. And something kind of dawned on me today too, because you look around and sometimes you realize that there's a very heavy amount of boredom inside of yourself. And then you look and you can sense that people around you are also bored. And I thought to myself, why is it that people are bored? Like, regular people, common people. And it dawned on me that we are currently seeing, we're seeing an infinite amount of simulations and different human lives from a fake God eye, which is the scrolling, channel after channel after channel.
So, and then it's controlled, and then that's not good for society.
And it desensitizes us.
It's controlled. It's not the natural one.
It's weird. It's weird.
You drink some natural sugar, or you eat some natural sugar, you eat some fake sugar. That's the same thing.
But this goes back to the IRL, because you said it, I think, on a past podcast too. Nothing can replace IRL. I can see 1,000 videos on somebody who summited Mount Everest, right? But that will never be the real thing. So it's like it goes back to.
But I think what's gonna come soon is that, first of all, we should be grateful right now to be able to travel, and we should travel as much as possible, because very soon we're not gonna be able to travel anymore. Very soon they're gonna cut off flights, because that's not good for the planet, and that's not. So basically, you can see with plants already. The plants comes from somewhere, and they gotta stay somewhere, because that's where they can thrive the best. If you bring a plant in another country, it might be either not good for the plants around, or not good for herself to grow in the best situation as possible. And so for humans, it's the same. I think, in my opinion, your place of birth is where you should stay, I think, to be able to thrive the best and to bring your purpose to the best outcome, I think.
That's fascinating. So you think travel is going to be limited in the future? It's not going to
Yes,
be
we're gonna
increased?
seek. Yeah, we're gonna
That's
seek
crazy.
where we are, and we can just see other places because we filmed that, and we are gonna say to our childrens, "Oh, before I could travel to Japan, I could go there actually," and now they can just only see it in the screen, and maybe who knows, in the far future, maybe they will create some new worlds, and you can just get in new worlds, and people will think it's like a true place because they can just replicate it.
Oh, you're thinking like super simulation theory.
Yeah,
Like simulations are going to get so advanced that
yeah.
it's going to it's you're going to feel that's interesting too because for those of you who are watching right now who have played VR games or who own VR headsets and whatnot, you spend enough time in a VR headset and then you come back to real life and you do feel a little difference. You do feel like, whoa, like the calibration is different in this world. So I can only imagine as technology gets more advanced, you thinking they're gonna master the five senses in a virtual sense?
Yeah, pretty easy.
Right. A couple of science fiction films already spoke about
I mean,
this.
so
Maybe
what
like
we're
20,
saying
30
yesterday,
years.
what we were saying with your brother yesterday is about those cards, that people can already find in the reels we're uploading on Instagram. So if you're listening, maybe you can check on Instagram. We're like uploading now in the clips we're doing. We put some glimpse of cards, collectible cards,
Right.
very fun ones.
Right.
So you can have a look. But those cards, you can
Little
think
Easter
like right now,
eggs. Little
right
Easter
now
eggs.
is little Easter eggs right now only.
Yeah.
But then with the you start with like building foundation with collectibles like this with cards digitally,
Right.
and then as soon as the technology is advanced enough, you can just start make those collectibles 3D, and you can like let people access to the characters in 3Ds directly in the world, and then you
Right.
create a little world, then it's over.
Well, that's why the metaverse technology, blockchain, NFT, Web3, that's why they're on the forefront of kind
And
of
that's what I'm
creating these
saying.
new
I don't mind,
worlds.
I'm not like a fan of NFTs or things like that. I don't mind whatever form, like if it has to be controlled by the government or like whatever form, it's just a digital collectibles, So we
Right.
gotta adapt, If it's NFT, you sell it like through cryptos, and if it's like the NFT doesn't go well and things are not going that way, then you sell it on a true website and you get in euro or US dollar, right?
Yeah, and that still seems a little
Who
bit
cares?
that still seems old school, right? Because I think we're moving very fast, man. Within a year, I think even like according to to Abiga, within the next 5 or 6 years, it's gonna be a very turbulence,
Yes.
tumultuous period. It's gonna be very choppy, but after that, we're gonna enter this kind of like golden expansion.
Yes.
But we're gonna go through this growing pains, I think, within the next 5 or 6. It's gonna be real interesting, and we're at the cusp of it. So, for those of you tuning in, even right now, you see us building. We're building in public. We're experimenting. We're refining.
We're learning.
Yeah, we're
We're learning,
learning.
but I can tell already in 3 months I really learned a lot about like how to maximize AI to like help you out. Like honestly, the thing we're doing right now, we should have been like 20 people now, like running 2 audio. I mean, it's not the best quality ever. It's easy, we just shoot it like that.
Right.
But even though all the like content we come up from this, we should have 20 people. And now you can just do it by yourself. A few clicks.
I mean, we're gonna be in a very interesting crux that's gonna support people like myself, like you, Armel, or people who are watching or tuning in who are just highly imaginative, creative type individuals. And if you're not necessarily that kind of person, I think very soon you're going to learn how to tap into that side of yourself. Because, essentially my dream as a creator, is to minimize that gap between imagination and product so you can test it faster. And even right
That's
now,
all it's gonna be. You can just create
Right.
directly, like I want
Right.
this, and boom, it appears right now in front of
Right,
you.
and you test it, and it might not work all the time, and even like right now, I think I joked about this with you too. Like the phone is still attached to a tripod that's standing up.
Yeah, the fun is over soon. The fun is over soon.
I need a drone.
5 years, 5 years, 5 years, no more fun for sure. In 5 years,
There was a
there's no more fun.
scene. There was a scene in Blade Runner 2049. What's his name? Jared Leto plays a character, crazy character, and this character is like a cyborg. He didn't really have eyes though, but surrounding him were these floating cameras, just floating around him. It's like 10 of them, just floating.
Do you think I can buy the? Do you think I can buy the Meta glasses right now in New York?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
If I can, I just go down. Yeah, if I can, I go downstairs. I buy it straight up.
Do it. Why not, bro? Weapons of mass creation.
If I can, I don't know if it's available anywhere.
Weapons of mass creation. He about to buy the Meta glasses right here on the Purple Matter podcast. Let's go.
I can bring my phone. I can just like.
Yeah,
No, but I'll go see later. I gotta go.
You talking about the Ray-Bans or the new ones?
The Ray-Bans.
Oh, the Ray-Bans you can cop. You can probably find that anywhere. The Ray-Bans you can cop. I thought you were talking about the new ones.
What's the store?
But yeah, we're entering those times, brother. The tech is getting fast.
What's the name store? Ray-Ban?
I'm not sure. Maybe you gotta type in Ray-Ban Meta. It's probably selling at some kind of electronics store. New York, we got like Best Buy, maybe Target. You might even be able to cop it at maybe the Apple store sells it, but it would definitely be a high-end electronics store. But yeah, I mean, even that itself, as I said, the POV elements, we spoke about this prior. The POV element, I think, is going to become a really interesting type of product. There's a movie called Being John Malkovich. You ever heard of that movie?
Yeah.
Remember that movie? That's a wild movie. The ability to go into somebody else's mind.
Right.
So this is really, I think, what a lot of developers, creators, you spoke with my brother, advertisers, engineers. What are going to be the what are going to be the hot, valuable products and tools in the next 10 years? People, if you have any idea or if you have any potential examples of what you think is going to be the next hottest, valuable tool, product, or maybe even initiative or mission, make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe, do all that good stuff so we can kind of see what's popping. But
I'm gonna go 10 minutes walk. I'm gonna go buy the Ray-Bans.
I bet. I think that's a good place to end it, bro. That might be a good place to end it.
We have time still. Only 30 minutes. We can still run it.
I'm just teasing.
You want to rush?
No. I'm just teasing. I thought you were about to go. You in a rush to go get the Ray-Bans?
No, I have time. Only
bet.
30 minutes. We have 15 more minutes.
I bet. Nah, New York is busy, brother. Everything is battling for attention. Everything is battling for attention in New York City.
Exactly. It's attention fights. That's crazy.
It's the fire is under the ass. Like I said, it's the pressure cooker. Rent is always coming up next month, right? It's a high price rent.
It never stops.
It never stops, man.
People are running. That's what I like here. People are running. I love to walk super fast, and right now I feel like it's a run outside. Like who's gonna be the fastest? But I'm used to it already in Taiwan. I like to, in Tokyo I go fast.
Right. Keep a fast pace.
Taiwan I always use the bike, But here, boom, fast.
Time is money. And that's in a way.
Hong Kong is fast too.
Right. That's in a way a double-edged sword though too, right? Because a lot of what we try to explore too is what's beyond money, what's beyond that sense of rush, that sense of not making it, not being enough, right? You know, the concept of the rat race has been
This is
developed in cities like
yeah.
this,
This is a very interesting question.
right?
I think for me, when I'm experiencing this rush, this pressure about like I want to do more, I want to work more, I haven't worked enough, all those chatters that I got when I'm working, I've asked myself like, where does it come from, and how can I stop those? You know, how can I
Right,
work more chill and more relaxed? And I figured out it was
right,
that through a small exercise, I figured out that it was like because I need to give myself more love, right?
right,
I need I needed to like focus some time during the day and just feel some love to myself and knowing that everything is well
right.
and there's no pressure to have, and the more I'm gonna be in that state of mind, the better things will go. And so at the end of the day, the every day goes pretty well.
Right, and that's a blessing. That's, you know, that in itself is already something that could potentially be a heaven to somebody somewhere else. And it kind of goes back to what you mentioned about how there could be so many realities happening at the same time here on Earth. And of course, that little peephole is the internet, which is only really a very recent phenomenon. I'm also curious about what you think might happen if people start to realize that certain technologies exist that support potential free energy or unlimited energy source. Because on a logical notion, when you follow that logical route of, let's say, New York City, for example, it's the rat race. It's the classic rat race, right? People are rushing to get to work, to pay the bills, to pay off this, pay off that, and for what purpose? And it's like this really interesting cycle. But if you follow that logic, it kind of all goes back, in my opinion, and you know, I'm sure I can be corrected and you know have differing opinions and possibly even debate this. But
Yep.
it goes back to energy, and it goes back to fuel, and it goes
Right.
back to a direct current system, which we mentioned in episode 1 about having this collar on our neck as people,
Right.
right? People are in the rat race because they need to find a way to justify the roof over their head,
Right.
right? They need to find a way to justify the food that goes into their mouth. They need to
Exactly.
afford gasoline. They need to afford a monthly Metro card, right?
Yeah, that's factual.
But it all goes back to the energy source and the fact that we're in a direct current system. There are a few companies who control the gasoline, the fuel, the oil. But what if we all found out that free energy exists? Technologies like 0 point gravity exist. No gravity. Technologies like unlimited electricity that you can harness from the air, from the Earth's natural electromagnetic current. I saw a great quote today that said that science advances one funeral at a time. Because 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years ago, there was a scientist who was alive that everybody agreed upon was speaking the truth and had the facts, only to be proven wrong in the next 100 years, and the next 100 years, and the next 100 years. So it's like, why are we so certain right now that this system is the one that we have to use?
Because I think it's no choice right now. The winner of like this AI run, the winner gets to like run everything because everything will be run by AI. So if you control the source, you control everything, very detailed. So it's
That's
over. It's
fascinating.
over. The race is over. Like they know they've planned this for a while, and they are
Gotcha.
acting like they are
Gotcha.
acting like election presidential
Right, right, right,
Trump,
right, right,
or
right.
you know,
Right.
it's like this is
They're
comedy.
already
This is
developing
comedy.
they're
They know
developing the
already how it's gonna
relationship
be.
with the entity that will run everything regardless.
Exactly.
But where does that leave the people? Where does that leave the souls, the massive amounts of our
You will have
population
to
and
adapt.
groups?
You have to adapt, and I think it's
That's
only
natural.
depending on you. It's only depending on you if you want to suffer it or if you want to just move forward and work on that. Like I think it can be a very nice time if you just shift your mind and like see all the new opportunities that are gonna come through from that. I think it's gonna be a really great time. But on the
Yeah, for
opposite side,
sure.
if you want to take it more like,
You resist it.
oh, it's changed so much, I don't want to use AI, I don't want to use this, I don't want to be controlled, I don't want to be I don't want to have glasses that can film everything, then it may be better to go in the nature, becoming back a farmer in Colombia and getting the fruits and the veggies from earth.
Right. We're gonna see these drastic pendulum swings. What do you think is the
Right.
What do you think is the craziest thing my brother said yesterday, or the wildest, most inspiring thing? What stuck with you the most?
I mean, we talked about developing the application about like the collectibles where they will be digitally dispersed in Manhattan through Google Map, and like you throw like 200 collectibles in the city and people need to be at the actual location to pick up the collectible. So it becomes super rare, and you can also like showcase it when you're abroad, when you are doing, like, oh, I've been to
That's
New
pretty dope.
York, like, I did some tourist activities for summer or things like that. So you can just like share it with your friends, you can resell them if you want, you can like, create more rarity between each characters.
I
And
like that.
so basically it's infinite possibilities of creation, that is very effortless at the beginning because it's just prompts. And so he was saying that it's going to be possible then to like, when you get the glasses, you can like make the characters pop-ups in the street in 3D,
Right.
and you can just catch him, like wherever you want, like if you want to put.
I mean, you already know Pokemon Go is gonna be crazy in the
I
AR
mean,
glasses.
that's the next Pokemon Go, like that's the
Yeah.
next Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go. I mean, AR is gonna be
Because it's going to
insane.
be so rare to be able to make moves. Like you're going to have to stay in your location, it's going to be tough and expensive to like go from a place to another. If you're living in Brooklyn, it's going to be tougher and tougher to go to Manhattan, more expensive. If you don't have a car, you want to go in Uber, it's going to be 120 150 US dollar.
I see. So you think there's gonna be a phase where people are gonna get isolated? They're
Yes.
preparing.
Yeah, I
They're
mean
preparing people for an isolated scenario.
exactly.
Maybe
You're
even
gonna get
those. Yeah, maybe even
isolated.
those
You gotta get
lockdowns was a pre
you
was a
gotta get
precursor.
you gotta get isolated. So the rarity of the character is gonna get so much higher because it's gonna be tough to go get one characters at the south of the city when you're living at the north, because if you don't have a car, even if you have a car, it's expensive still, but you gotta go get there.
Yeah, I think this is where, when you speak to my brother is very analytical, very practical. His scope is very finite to what is going to be valuable in 1 year, 5 year, 10 year. So from a product standpoint, this is a great puzzle to figure out as creators. Is number one, how is the user interface going to be redesigned? Because right now we are all used to just scrolling on a two-dimensional screen or computer. So we already naturally are used to absorbing information kind of in a scroll method. But soon we're going to, like you said, like what a lot of people are saying, what we're all feeling, transition to 3 dimension. And who's going to have the most seamless ability to transition to 3 dimension? It's going to be the kids who are really good at Fortnite or who know how to play Minecraft. For
Exactly.
real. Because
Exactly.
they're used to 3 dimensional
That
analog
that's
controls. Even my
exactly what's
generation,
gonna
I'm
happen.
35, we're video
That's
game
ex-
heads. You know what I mean? So
that's exactly what's gonna happen, and that's why you want to target like these kind of generations, because that's the people that's gonna have time. That's the people that are gonna have time. They will have, always working online, always like creating content, playing games, having fun online. They will make money like that, and then you can also spend money on cards.
Right.
So that's the
Hence,
people
hence
you
the
want to target.
RPG.
Basically,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah,
It's increasingly going to become an RPG kind of situation. But of course, the later generations will adapt. Yeah, for sure. It's going to become an RPG situation at all times. Like, I mean, even shopping is going to be RPG gamified, right?
exactly,
You know,
exactly,
so
exactly. That's how it's gonna be. That's like in these kind of cities, not everywhere in the world, but I believe in New York, that's how it's gonna be. You can't go shopping like you go to Nike or you're rich man if you go to the actual store.
yo, that's
You
I see what I see. Yeah, the more you keep kind of like emphasizing that, the more I can feel it. It's like going out your house is just too costly.
yes,
It's
you
because
gotta
the
go to the grocery
inflation.
store.
Yeah,
You gotta go to the grocery store and your work has to be paid by the company to go there. But otherwise, you stay in your house, man.
I mean,
Where
I'm
you want to
sure,
go? Where you want to go?
I'm
Everywhere
sure
you
people
go,
have
they
seen.
charge you like $80 or
Yeah, yeah. Every single motion gets taxed.
exactly. So now it's like a game of like, and that's why everyone want to rush into like, oh yo, I want to catch the wave on the, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy that you're sensing that, right? But again, one reality, one bubble. It's not the bubble. But New York has this way of making you feel like it's the bubble that you gotta be
And
in on.
coming from Egypt is crazy. It's crazy to think
Right.
that people in
That's
Egypt they are living that way. The guy was driving like, oh my god, that's like hilarious.
I mean, there's a thing in New York. There's a New York syndrome where like New Yorkers complain about New York all the time, but the minute somebody else talks down on New York, they defend it with their life. And in a strange way, the New Yorker mindset is a catch-22.
What do you
And
mean?
catch-22, it's like an anomaly. It's like a contradiction. It's like a New Yorker can be the best, most confident, most amazing slave at the same time.
Right.
They are a slave to
Certainly.
something they don't even realize it. And it's crazy that you're almost foreseeing that, like, kind of like the movie Ready Player One, where person after person is just confined to their cubicle, and their life force is transmuted and transformed into a virtual output
Right.
that is then taxed and pointified. People take little points off of every little action you do in this virtual world.
Exactly.
Every little
Exactly.
thing gets
And then
measured.
you don't consider. I mean, the way to survive that is to not consider money as like an actual like bill that you're losing. It's like no, it's a points of energy that you're providing. You're
Right.
providing energy. It's like
But it's
you have
still,
that much
yeah,
energy. You've built that much energy that you can like provide. Do this. You can go there. You can like So the more value you will bring, the more energy you will have to spend. And I think that's all about like making it transfer. Can't hold that much. So you gotta like give back as much as. I think that's gonna be the mathematics of the future. Like if you want to like thrive on the long term, I think it's going to be very important and necessary to give back as much as possible so you don't hold that much. Otherwise, it's going to get very dark, right?
that's cool. I like that. The mathematics of the future. The more that the more that you hold on to, the darker and heavier you get.
Exactly.
The less that you have, the more ability you have to be free.
That's what I'm
To be
saying.
free.
I love to be
Be
light.
free.
I love to be light.
Right.
Right now, I bought so many things right now, but I don't like it. It's so heavy. I like to have like I like to be super light, can move
Right.
around very quickly, agile.
Right. I mean, there's
Even the
different.
food, even the food I eat here is too big.
The American supersize.
American super size. Double
So
cheeseburger, vegan friendly, and then you
it's a
get ice
different
cream
place, bro.
with chili flakes on top. ice cream with chili flakes on top, and then a mozzarella pizza slice with
Oh
fresh burrata.
Oh my
Fresh
God.
burrata.
That's life though.
Woo.
That's life though. Where are you headed to next after this?
After this, I'm gonna go to Reban, buy the Meta glasses, and then I'm
And
gonna
then you
go
flying to
straight to
where?
the airport, flying to Paris.
Back to Paris, brother. New York to Paris.
Back to the basics, and then back to Aix-en-Provence. I changed the flight directly. Paris, boom. Don't go out in the city. I stay in the airport. Then I change the flight, go to Marseille.
So
Marseille,
yeah,
go see my brother.
yeah.
I have a car there, so I can drive.
So the next time we chat, you're gonna be in a whole other reality, brother. You're gonna be
I'm
in the
gonna be
countryside.
in the south of France. Not so much countryside. I think it's a nice
Oh,
city.
really?
It's a small Paris.
Nice.
It's like a small neighborhood of Paris.
Nice. I bet. Sounds good, brother. Sounds good.
I appreciate you, iBud.
I appreciate you too, brother. I see you smoking a nice one. Smoking a nice one on the roof.
See you till the next one.
Yes, sir. New York City, brother. Completed.
Completed.
Purple
Checked
Matter,
out the box.
Episode 4.
I'm glad that I came here after the pyramids. It made so much more sense. All right, peace out.
People, we'll see you on the next one, brother. Tune in. Yes, sir. Comment, like, and subscribe, y'all. Episode 4.